Hello, everyone. Happy 2025 from the Sewing Workshop team. I'm bringing on my friend Betsy, and we just wanted to say hello.
Yeah, Happy New Year. First live stream of the new year. That's exciting.
It has been
And
a couple weeks, so I
it-
hope everyone had the most fantastic holiday season with friends, family, and whoever else you spent your time with. So, thank you for joining us. It's good to be with you all.
yeah, and we have kicked off this year. It's been an intense couple first days of the year. We launched our first So Confident
Mhm,
class last Friday. We launched our new pattern, which is the Toulouse Jacket, which we'll talk about
mhm.
today. And then on Sunday we had a huge blizzard. So it's been a week, and Erin and Linda and Deb skied into the office today so that they can share our new patterns with you, and we're ready to go.
Yeah, so today is all about the Toulouse Jacket, the new pattern, which is what we're going to tell you all about. We just launched it as part of the first project of So Confident 2025, the first part of season one. If you are a season one subscriber or a yearly or monthly subscriber to So Confident 2025, everything is available in your course page. So, surprise also, our promotion for So Confident ended on January 3rd, but because we took a couple weeks off from the live stream, we decided to have a flash sale. So we're going to talk about So Confident again in a little bit, but So Confident 2025 is out. It's available. We have extended and given just for a couple days the So Confident 2025 early bird pricing for yearly, monthly, and season one subscribers. So if you didn't get to purchase your yearly subscription, your monthly subscription, or a season one subscription for the first four projects, you can do that for the next 2 days, today and tomorrow. So you have a little bit more time to purchase So Confident with the great yearly and monthly and season one special pricing that we had going into 2025. So we'll talk more about that in a bit, but just wanted to throw that out there. We'll post the links to all of that. You can also shop So Confident 2025 in this week's sale category, so it's pretty easy to find. I also wanted to give a shout out that we have our So Kansas 2025 dates. And as another update, our June So Kansas is officially sold out, but we do have openings for August and October. So if you want to check out So Kansas, maybe you've been, maybe you've never been, maybe you've heard us talk about it. It's a wonderful time for a 3-day workshop in our Topeka, Kansas studio, and we have openings for the summer and also the fall. So hope to see you at So Kansas this year. They're always a really good time. Check it out at sewingworkshop.com, and there's a whole So Kansas section under the events page. Also, we have 2 spots left for Santa Fe. We had some last minute cancellations as things happen. So 2 spots are open. The event was sold out and a couple cancellations, like I said, happened. So if you were burning to go to Santa Fe and couldn't get in because it was sold out, we have 2 spots open. So that is also available on the website under events. If you click on Santa Fe, you can pay your non-refundable deposit, and more information will be sent out to you about Santa Fe here shortly. It's coming up. It's in February. It is February, let's see, can I say the dates off the top of my head? The 16th through the 21st, starts on a Sunday, ends on a Friday. And this is a fantastic event. So check out all the details about Santa Fe. Also, if you are signed up for Santa Fe, we have our first informational meeting tomorrow, which you guys are going to get an email about today. So we'll see you tomorrow for Santa Fe attendees. We'll talk all the details for Santa Fe tomorrow for our informational Zoom. All right, so let's hand it over to Linda, who's going to tell you guys all about our newest pattern, the Toulouse Jacket. And we got a whole fully packed show for you guys today.
Hi there, everybody. Hope you've had a great holiday season and are ready to start out. I find that everybody just starts out with the idea that sewing, I'm going to sew every day of my life for the next year. Um, Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't, but it's always a great thing to think about. And with our 14 inches of snow on the ground, it's a great day to sew. We've hit a history mark. We haven't had this much snow in Kansas, or at least Topeka, since the 1800s. So I remember as a kid, we used to have snow all the time. I wore boots to school all the time. And I don't know, something happened and we don't have as much snow, but this year we have. It's pretty cool. It's gorgeous. But we did just about ski to the office today. So we're going to talk about the Toulouse Jacket. The Toulouse Jacket is named because every year Alex and I used to go to, well, actually Erin's been and Alex has been and Samantha's been and Nancy Schreiber's been. So we kind of changed around who went to Chateau Dumas in France, southern France, but it's near Toulouse and we would have to fly into Toulouse. So it's just a name that has always kind of resonated with me. It's a really interesting city, fun and all that. So we name things, we don't know why. Just every once in a while, we name them for streets or cities, or somebody hands us a name and we like it. So this time it's Toulouse. Now I'm wearing it today, and I'm wearing it in a very casual way because I have had a few emails and comments from people that I have no need for a silk jacket, which is what we have made the sample out of. So today I am wearing the Toulouse jacket, and you can see how loose the Toulouse jacket is. Very oversized. It's not meant to be a tailored blazer at all, even though it has some tailoring elements to it. So I'm wearing it with a t-shirt today and jeans. And it's just the perfect thing to just throw over whatever you have on to just go out the door and look really chic. So
we actually have some inspirational images too that we found, which is kind of fun.
Okay.
So, we've had this idea for having a sort of blazer jacket combo in our collection. And if you watch the Toulouse online workshop video, you'll see me create a new word for the pattern. I called it the blacket.
2 new words.
Yeah, 2 new words. It's either the blacket or the jazer. So if you don't want to call it a Toulouse jacket or a Toulouse blazer, just call it a Toulouse jazer. There you go. So so here's just some inspirational images of kind of ready to wear runway street style looks for blazer / jacket like looks. So Betsy and I kind of collaborated and came up with some images that we've seen. So we've got Farm Rio here. We've got just the great tone on tone. And these, of course, have different elements. Our Toulouse jacket, we'll go into the details of that. But the great double notch collar, the great kind of opening with buttons. You're seeing oversized looks. You're seeing looks like the tone on the far left. The great Farm Rio fabric in the middle. And then a runway look where you're putting a jacket right over a dress.
That's quite a dress.
And again, you've got this is Betsy. You were like Prue Leith. There's no one.
Yeah. No one wears a brightly colored, actually any outfit, but particularly blazer like Prue Leith. She is the judge on the Great British Baking Show, and she looks incredible every single episode. And she wears bright colors and wild prints, and she rocks the jacket. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I love it. I love the geometric print. I love it's not symmetrical even. Like her sleeves are different. The front and each side of the front is different. It's great. And Kate Winslet's this is sort of my like quintessential sort of what's in my head when I think about an oversized blazer, an oversized jacket, and kind of what Linda alluded to when she showed you. She's just got it's very kind of squared off and elevated in the shoulders and not necessarily boxy, but just very kind of straight, a little bit longer shape to this kind of classic white and black look that Kate Winslet's got on. We've also got Meghan Markle here with just another simple classic look, a gray blazer with a white shirt underneath, black skinny pants. And the next few are just another version of sort of simple looks, jeans, shirts. If sometimes you might not want to make a printed jacket, make just a wonderful blazer or jacket in a black, in maybe a linen, and maybe a denim, and maybe a cotton blend. You're seeing again kind of the tone on tone for classic looks. You're seeing a print. This middle one kind of reminds me of the print Linda even has on today. But you can dress this up and you can dress this down. So there are lots of variations and styling considerations for your jacket. And this final one, these kind of reminded me a lot of Samantha and reminded me of a brand that I love called Sakai. And, it's a different playful version of this, but think about blending denim into your jacket and kind of cutting it away and leaving one side solid and another side with denim. This is not a Sakai jacket. I just found these in a simple search online, but thinking about playing with how each side and part of the pattern could be a different fabric. And then on the far right, it's a simple gray fabric, but you have painted over your blazer. So I feel like Samantha is getting inspired right now in this moment and is probably going to make one of these. So
those are great. But you're right. All of them had this oversized look to them. And to me, that puts it in what I call the boyfriend jacket category rather than a blazer. A blazer to me implies that maybe it's lined, it's shaped, it has darts, it has some pad stitching or something, it's a real tailored jacket. So I call this a boyfriend jacket because it's meant to be really oversized. So one of the reasons why we chose this type of jacket is that in our line, which is sort of amazing of all of its 80 to 100 patterns that we have, we didn't have anything that had a notch collar lapel. And those have been always a little bit intimidating, but this one is really easy to do because it takes the mystery out of this notch that for years I struggled with. This also has a stand that's attached to the collar. So that is what helps it roll and stay in place. So it's really a two-piece collar, a stand and a collar all in one. It's not like you apply the collar. It's not like a shirt where you apply the stand and you apply the collar and it takes a few steps. This is kind of an all-in-one thing. So let's look at the jacket a little bit more. This is one of the kits that we have available. And we are featuring silk or a silk blend, something that's very lightweight, very drapey, almost wispy, but not like something sheer. So, it's very loose and drapey. And we chose to contrast the collars, the lapel. So this whole facing is a contrasting fabric. And then the under collar and the stand are also contrasted. So then we've used the contrasting fabric for a single welt pocket. It seems like we've been into welt pockets lately. This is actually the very same pocket that was in the bamboo top, which you did last year, if you're a So Confident member last year. Very same technique, just a different angle and all of that. It does have bound buttonholes, which are just beautiful. And I haven't done a bound buttonhole for a while. Let's see if we can get it closer here. They're so tiny, it's kind of hard to. There's one. And here's one right there. But we use a method that Sandra Betsina wrote about in Power Sewing. And I think it's the best method that I've ever seen. So we use that. It's making the welts out of the two welts out of one piece of fabric. And that's a technique that was new to me. In high school or college, when I was making bound buttonholes, it was always making two separate pieces for the welts. It was very difficult to get them even. This is a no-brainer. So don't be afraid of that. Let's see, obviously a set-in sleeve. What have I forgotten? Anything? Not really. The back is very plain. There's no vent, there's no seam. It's just solid. It is a two-piece sleeve. There is a seam on the back side of the sleeve, under back side. And the nice thing about that is it creates a bit of a curve of the sleeve, which is a nice thing. There's a little bit of easing that happens for a few inches of the seam, and that creates a shape in the sleeve that's very pretty. So I show you how, in the video, how to set in a sleeve in a silk fabric, basically how to work with silk. Now, when I say silk, I'm really putting this in the category of anything silky, anything silk-like. So all of the ways of handling the fabric can happen in rayon, viscose crepes, some polyesters. We occasionally can't resist maybe a print or something. We don't have a lot of polyesters here, but when something is just too pretty to pass up, we'll buy it. So but it has the same properties. It's just a little more difficult to press, but nevertheless, it's a great travel fabric because it doesn't wrinkle. So there we have it. One of the things that we talk about is also using a Hong Kong finish on the hem. And we use a really unexpected color. In this case, it's lavender. And the whole jacket can be Hong Kong finished, like this one is. But we don't have you do that, really. We just give you that as an option. The only thing in this jacket, in our pattern, is the hem is a Hong Kong finish. And the Hong Kong finishing on seams and other, like the pocket edges and all of that, that's just optional. You can do it. It makes a beautiful finish. It's not a lined jacket. Of course, you can line it. And I had an email this morning from a friend who wanted to see the inside of this jacket. So Erin made this jacket. She's probably over there dying, going, oh my gosh, now what are they going to see? But there's a kind of a combination of things here. So she's used the traditional seam. I know you can't see it in the black, but it's sewing it at 5/8 of an inch, pressing the seam one direction, and 3 threads serge finishing the edge of the seam. Now, I use Isacord thread, which is basically an embroidery thread by OESD. And I've had people walk into a Bernina store, for example, which is pretty much typical of who sells Isacord. And they say they want it for seam finishing for their sergers, and the dealers will say, oh, you can't use that for that. Well, you can. And the reason I use it is it's very silk-like. It's very smooth, has a little bit of a sheen, so you could be off just a little touch on your color, and it would still blend because it has the sheen to it. But mostly it's so thin that when you press a seam, you don't have the show through of the lump of the seam with this thread. So I suggest that you go to online or to your local Bernina dealership and buy a bunch of colors that are in your wardrobe for the seam finishing. So that is the seam finish here. Now, interestingly enough, and I think this is a perfect finish, the edge of the pocket has actually been pinked. It's been sewn and then pinked. And I loved pinked finishes. I know it seems sort of elementary and maybe going back to elementary school, but the nice thing about pinking is that the seam, the edge of the seam blends in. Now, it's not going to show up on this black fabric particularly, but it's nice not to have a ridge show through. And I'll never forget this. I used to have a mentor woman who taught me most of what I know. Her name was Dort Johnson. And she helped me open my first fabric store. She was a very seasoned sewer. She knew everything. And I was struggling through something one day, and I said, Dort, I just can't get this seam to not show. And she says, well, haven't you ever heard of pinking shears? You know, she was like, what are you, some kind of an idiot? So I've been using pinking shears ever since. And it takes the right pinking shears. I mean, there's a lot of different pinking shears and brands and all of that. All right, so even though there are only 2 bound buttonholes on this, there are 4 buttons. Oh no, there's 3 bound buttonholes, 2 on this side, 1 on this side, but there are 4 buttons. So it appears to be kind of a double-breasted jacket. I don't happen to button mine up because then that makes it more of a fitted something. I want it to flow and open and move around and all of that. But still, you could and can button it if you choose. And it buttons with 3 buttons. You have 1 button on the back side of the right facing, and you can see the 2 bound buttonholes sort of here. And then you have 1 bound buttonhole and 2 buttons. So, but there's just a little bit to see on the inside. Obviously, if you are lining this, you don't have to finish the seams in the same way. You could pink all of them, or maybe if it doesn't ravel much, don't do anything at all to them. You could still do the Hong Kong finish if you do more of an underlining kind of technique. So linings that we would suggest for this would be like China silk, Bamberg rayon, anything very lightweight and very silky and smooth. Or you could just line the sleeves. Sometimes people do that. And one nice thing to do is like on this one, you could do a Hong Kong finish on the sleeve only, so that when you roll it up, you see this little bit of color. So I'm pretty excited about this. This is the kind of jacket that I wear casually or can be for dress. I have worn this jacket actually with a silky top and a big chunky shiny thing for holidays with some pretty pants. And then as you can see today, I'm wearing it with jeans. So I think it's real versatile and something that in our line we just haven't had before. So I think it's great. All right, one of the things that I talked about in the video is grading seams. And it's not super important that you grade seams on a silk fabric, but it's a good practice to get into. And you for sure want to do graded seams in a lot of other fabrics. And when we talk about grading, we mean that the 2 layers of seam that are exposed beyond the stitching line are at 2 different widths. And you want the wider width of the seam allowance to be next to the outside of the garment. So you have to think about that. But let's watch this little quip of a video, I guess. Doesn't take very long to watch it. I have to apologize. I don't know why I couldn't cut straight that day, but you'll get the gist of it. I want to show you how I grade a seam, all in one step. First of all, you decide which direction the seam is going to go, which of the 2 layers of seam allowance are against the outside of the fabric. What you don't want is to have the 2 ridges of a seam showing on the outside. In case you get ridges at all, 1 is obviously preferable to 2. So I take my large shears and I put them on the edge of the seam allowance and I'm flattening the shears. So I'm cutting everything really flat. And when I finish that, you will see that I have 2, it's subtle, but 2 very different layers. I don't know if you can see this. Let's see if we can. Can you see that the bottom layer is beyond the top layer by just a little bit and just enough for grading? You know, I thought we had a better shot of that, of the 2 layers. Do we not?
It is in a secondary video that is unedited.
Oh, got it. Okay. Well, what you weren't seeing there is that the bottom layer of that was probably a 32nd of an inch wider. And that would be the layer that would be on the outside of the garment. So Do we have any questions so far?
Yeah, it looks like people want to know a little bit more about your jacket and the sample jacket. So can we see a close-up of the collar and stand?
Yes. Hold on a minute. I think I'm going to get the sample from the video. Hold on 1 second. This is the fabric that I used in the video. It's the one up there, so that you could see it. You know, you would never have seen the stitches on that black, or the other one that we have. Maybe Erin could even bring it out, the pink, the other kit choice. The fabric. Yeah. Yeah. So the two kits that we have, I'm digressing here a little bit. We have the black, and then we have this beautiful fuchsia. And then the contrast is actually the same print, only with a black background. So these are the two kits that we have. I don't know how we're doing on quantities. We haven't been around the office. We weren't here yesterday, and not sure where we are on that. All right. You can probably see this better. So this is the collar and the stand. If you've ever made our Stafford jacket, this is the technique that we use on that. It's a really nice, look, here it is on the underside, so to speak. So in order to make this bend, so to speak, there's an important dot and clip that happens. And then you start by sewing the collar and the stand together, and then that is placed on the neckline, come to the dot and pivot, and complete sewing the rest of the collar to the stand. There's the collar to the garment. Okay.
All right, can we see that? Can we see the inside of your jacket a little bit more? And can you tell us what size you would wear or what you're wearing in this jacket?
Well, what size is this one? Yeah. I would make either a small or a medium, depending on how much. This is a medium. Yeah. And this is a large. And we haven't made a small. So I don't know. But medium suits me in how it fits. So the inside is Hong Kong finished along the facing, around the pocket, the seams, the bottom, everything.
And can you describe the texture of the kit fabrics?
Yes, the kit fabrics are very smooth. Help me with this, Erin. Is this a silk and viscose? And so it has the properties, I think, of a silk crepe de chine, which is the sort of classic blouse weight, jacket weight of the silks. This one, you want to help me with this one too?
That is 100% silk.
Okay, thank you very much.
Both the pink floral and the
yeah.
And no, so I think they're all silk and viscose.
Even this one? Okay. So both of them have really the same weight to them. I would call them silk crepe de chines, but we can't do that because they're not 100% silk. There are so many blends now. Part of the reason that we have a lot of silk blends is that silk has increased in price so much that even the big time designers aren't using as much 100% silk as they used to.
Is it a dropped sleeve?
No, although I'm wearing mine a little bit off shoulder, but no, it's not meant to be. When Erin wears hers, she has shoulders. I have pretty good shoulders too, not as good as Erin's, but you know, Erin's sleeve is right to the edge. It's meant to be a set-in sleeve. Mine's probably off my shoulder by half an inch, maybe an inch at the most.
The collar and lapel on the sample that you're wearing, Linda, the collar and lapel on the sample seem narrower than Linda's. Is that because of the difference in size?
This one versus this one. No, it wouldn't be because of the size, because this line doesn't change for grading. It has to be just where it's folded, or I'm not sure. But no, they're the same. See, I can make that wider by folding it differently. This one's been on the rack and it's gotten kind of pressed into it, what it wants to do, I guess. This one's still soft.
What fabric is the jacket that you're wearing made from?
Silk. It's a silk jacquard.
How would the Toulouse work with boiled wool or boucle with overlapped seams?
I think it'd be beautiful. That's a fabric that's pretty drapey for what it is. And I think it'd be gorgeous.
What are you using for the Hong Kong seam finish?
This one is another silky thing. In this case, it's, again, we're having to look up it's all rayon, I think. 100% rayon. See, rayon has the same properties. So the Hong Kong finish is cut on the bias. And so you have the ability to kind of mold it to get it very even over the edge. So when you buy a kit, you get enough fabric for the outer jacket, the contrasting fabric for the lapels, undercollars, pocket, and buttonholes, and you get a half a yard of rayon for the Hong Kong finish. And you get the buttons and thread. So it's a pretty complete kit. It does not have interfacing in it. What we suggest is that you buy, you know, a few yards of our interfacings just to have on hand, because we use them all the time. And rather than just sending a little piece here and there, we just ask you to just go ahead and buy the year's supply. Although I think we're waiting on one of the colors from Japan. I think it's black we're waiting on.
Would a less drapey fabric like a linen work?
Yes. I'm going to show you a couple of other fabrics in addition to the ones on the wall in a minute, as soon as the questions are kind of over.
I think that's all I see. If there are any more, I'll catch them later.
Okay, sounds good. All right, well, let me start with the prints that are on the wall. I pulled this out because I think, you know, if you're really not into this sort of lapel, double-breasted look, I think the Ikina jacket is a great alternative because it looks really fantastic in large prints, smaller prints, solids, whatever. And in this case, it has a bit of a baby piping that separates the lapel from the garment. So this, to me, might be a nice alternative for these kinds of fabrics. This was, Betsy might remember this. This was a So Confident project 2 or 3 years ago.
I think 2021.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Time goes on. All right. So these are all silk or silk blends or viscose. This is viscose. I'm crazy about this fabric. It has a little woven dot, I guess I'll call it. See if you can see it. Maybe not. There it is. Can you see the little woven dot to it? I'm crazy about the color. I love this odd print, I like the scale of it. Oh, okay. This one may not go back up on the wall. There we go. Okay, this one is like a charmeuse. It's viscose also. And Alex used this one for her project last June for the challenge. Was it in June or July or something like that?
The Plaza Jacket, yeah.
Plaza Jacket, yeah. Pucci. That's probably a name most of you know. The House of Pucci is still producing garments and fabrics, and boy, this one is fabulous. Then we have this one, which is also viscose. Some of the viscose, this doesn't have a crepe finish to it, but whenever it has a crepe finish, it's a crepe weave. It's always just a little bit easier to sew than a real shiny, smooth one. But I love this one because it has animals, and it has lions and deer and then some vegetation. So it's really interesting. This is the one I used in the video. I think it's so fresh and springy. Be wonderful. This one is another Pucci. This is viscose and silk. Viscose. I have a lot of viscose. This is another Pucci. This is quite interesting, actually. Again, it's rayon. But there's a lot more color in this than you can probably see back here. But it's brown, blue, pink, green. I'm afraid to take them off the wall, but I can if you'd like me to. And then the last one is, I don't know. There's no tag on it. Of course, it feels like silk. They all feel like silk. Could be rayon, but
that one is silk.
Is it?
And it also has it's a silk blend of some kind because there's a little bit of stretch to it.
Oh, okay.
Just like a little bit.
Okay. But these are roses mixed in with just splashes of color, different blues and gray. Now, if you buy 2.5 yards, which is what most of the sizes of this jacket will take. If you buy 2.5 yards of any of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 prints, we're going to I won't say throw in, give you a yard of a contrast. So for instance, if you bought this one up here, you get a free yard of contrast fabric. Now let me show you a couple of other things. We were talking about other fabrics. We talked about denim today. I think you have to be careful with the denim. You don't want it too stiff, but there are certain denims that would be fantastic. This is a brand new fabric that comes from a designer out of Canada. And it could be reversible. I actually think this is the right side because the floral designs are kind of shiny and silky. And on this side, they're not, but you know, I'm not sure. I really think you could use either side. But you can tell this is more like a Chanel tweed. And heavier, thicker, but still drapey. So that tells you you could use a lot of different fabrics. We have one that'll be on the sale, in the sale category, this black and white tweed. It's wonderful. And then you could go very tailored. I think everybody should have a jacket like this. That's the most sumptuous worsted wool. Would make great pants. But a nice pinstripe in a worsted wool. Now, in real life, this is pretty dark gray. It's more like that. But there's the stripe. The stripe's about an inch apart. All right, what have I forgotten, girls?
There is a question about binding the armholes with the Hong Kong seam finish.
Yep. It's real hard to do. This jacket has it, but I don't really ever do it much. It's really hard. And I think it takes you can't do it on a heavy fabric, in my opinion. It takes a fabric like this to do it because you need to be able to keep it so that it moves, it's pliable, it's flexible. You don't want a stiff arm's eye. But it can be done.
All right, that is all of the questions I see.
Okay. All right.
Okay, well, as far as sale, you guys can shop the sale category on our website for all the fabrics Linda mentioned. And again, if you buy 2.5 yards of these fabrics on the wall, Betsy, am I saying this right? If it's on the wall, not the, are we also doing it with the suiting and the jacquard?
I think we're probably doing that too. We hadn't really talked about it. This whole idea of showing you some other textures came about because we've had some questions. And so we put that together kind of at the last minute. But why not? Why not?
All right, so if you buy at least 2.5 yards, we will...
Of anything in the sale category.
We will provide 1 yard of a contrast fabric.
Yeah.
And so you have the sale category. You have the Toulouse Jacket PDF pattern. That is not for sale. It is a brand new pattern, but you can purchase the new Toulouse Jacket. You can then shop the Toulouse Jacket kits, which are available that we've shown in the 2 different color options. And then you will see the fabrics. So I'm just getting a screen share ready here. Here we go. Okay. So you'll see what is on sale. The Ikina is also on sale. Sorry, the Ikina 2 in both PDF or printed. The fabrics that are listed on sale. And then, yeah. Did I click on the right thing? I think so. Yes, okay. So the kits and patterns and fabrics. You will also see in this sale category the flash sale that we are offering for So Confident. So for the next 2 days, So Confident 2025 will be available with our early introductory pricing. So that did expire on January 3rd, but we are extending So Confident for the next 2 days with our wonderful pricing that we've had. So if you did not get a chance to join our So Confident Sewing Education series with the Sewing Workshop, join So Confident. We have a yearly membership, we have a monthly membership, we also have a season 1 membership. We are not putting our individual tutorials on sale this year, so the Toulouse Jacket is not available for a single class like we've done in the past. So if you're interested in the Toulouse Jacket, go ahead and check out season 1, check out a monthly membership option, check out a yearly membership option, but these are not individual classes this year. So Staple Series has a great roundup of amazing patterns throughout all of 2025. And this is our 14th year of doing So Confident. We're always terribly excited to dream up the new patterns, dream up the look, dream up the kits. So we're working through finding the best fabrics for each of these patterns. They're all kind of a mix this year. There's, of course, as you see with the Toulouse Jacket, it's a mix of new patterns. It's a mix of vault patterns, which are older Sewing Workshop patterns that perhaps are what's the word I'm looking for? They were in print at one point and went out of print, and we brought them back. That was our whole theme last year, but this year we actually are mixing in vault patterns with new patterns and with variations of existing patterns. So the theme for patterns is really, there's not really a theme. It's all over the board with a mix of a lot of different types of patterns. So you see in this picture what the patterns are for the whole year. So we've broken up each year or each section of the year into seasons. So we have season 1. This is your season 1 collection. This is the jacket, the blouse, the pants, and the dress. So this is the first 4 projects of the year that we're calling season 1. And like I said, we're kind of working through the fabrics, getting the kits all ready to go. So each pattern will really work into the next pattern. So you have this great jacket, and underneath this jacket's going to go this wonderful blouse. Then it will have a great trio pant, followed by a variation of a vault pattern, a dress for the final 4th project. Then we have our middle summer series composing of 3 different projects. We have a virtual fashion show happening in May. Then in the middle of the summer, we have June, and we will have our bird blouse, which is a new pattern. We're developing that kit and getting that all ready to go as a new pattern for you guys this summer. And then we are returning our virtual sew along, the trio pants, which is kind of by suggestion from customers. People get a little behind in the year. They maybe don't get to revisit certain projects. The trio pants are one of our most beloved patterns. We always talk about it at So Kansas, at events. We wear them even though the pattern hasn't been in print for quite a while. So the trio pants, we're doing a virtual sew along in July for that pattern. And so that's going to be live in July with myself and with some of our team, where we'll talk through the techniques and show you how to make a pant for a totally different season. We did the trio pants, and we're going to do the trio pants early in season 1, but we'll bring it back for the summer to show you other styling options and considerations for that pant for the summer. Season 2 will kick off with another collection of 4 patterns. We have existing patterns of the Era jacket and the lotus skirt that we're going to show interesting variations and techniques within those patterns. Then we also have 2 new patterns. We have a new knit top in September and then a new pant in November. So as you can see, these 4 garments work together to create a cohesive, wonderful collection. And you can build upon these garments to work together. So we're playing with fabrics. We're looking at a lot of cool knits. We're looking at perhaps a black and white theme, mixing in some color. So as fabrics are available, we'll keep you guys updated on kits, but this is how season 2 will go. So as you've heard us talk about, we have membership options. We have 3 different membership options for So Confident 2025, and that is what's back on sale for the next 2 days. So today and tomorrow, you can check out our yearly membership, normally $525, but today and tomorrow we're reducing it back to $425 for the whole year for our yearly So Confident membership. If you want to be a monthly member, that is $40 a month for 12 months. And you get all the wonderful perks of So Confident with monthly membership and yearly membership. Now, if you don't want to join for the whole year, you can join season 1. There's a great price on those first 4 months, $180 for 4 projects for 4 months. You can purchase that upfront and you get access to the first 4 projects. But our best value really is the full year subscription. It makes it about $35 a month with the best value. If you are, or if you were, a So Confident 2024 member and you didn't get a chance to re-sign up and purchase So Confident 2025, just email Betsy and myself. We will give you access to your 10% discount code on the 2025 yearly price, because that's kind of our perk this year. If you're an existing So Confident member, we'll give you 10% off your yearly purchase for next year. So we want to honor that and give that same discount to you guys. So we have a discount for 10% off for you guys. So if you want to access that 10% discount because you were a previous So Confident member, just email us. But otherwise, these are available for only a short amount of time, just today and tomorrow. So grab your So Confident 2025 membership in the next 2 days and become a member. All right. Anything else, Linda?
I think that's it. That's good. We're excited about our program this year. I think we're as organized about it as we've ever been. I did want to say one thing about the Toulouse versus some of the other patterns that are coming after that. The Toulouse jacket, we're throwing this jacket at you to start off. And it has a lot of different elements to it that take some time. So this is not a jacket you're going to make in a night. You're going to plan it and work on it over time. There's not a lot of fitting to it, actually. And you probably want to do maybe a round back adjustment or some shoulder work. But other than that, because of its oversized, you're not going to have to get real fussy about other parts of the fitting. And then these other patterns that are coming along, they're not going to take as much time. They have some great techniques to them, but they're not, I wouldn't call them simple exactly, but definitely, we got the hardcore one out of the way in January, and then everything else that you're going to make is going to go with it.
We do have a couple more questions, if you don't mind.
Sure.
What is the contrast that would be provided for the blue rose?
Well, I would find a blue that went with it, a solid blue probably, because it has a lot of different colors. It could even be accented with black, but we'll find a blue. Unless there's a special request, then you want to email us or call us or something like that. I mean, if you want red, okay, we can do that.
Isocord thread seems to be too loose on the 3 thread in a silky fabric. What adjustments do you make?
Too loose? Is that what I just heard?
Isocord thread seems to be too loose on the 3 thread in a silky fabric.
Well, that's all about settings. You have to keep maneuvering and adjusting, and sometimes it takes quite a while. You want to replicate your samples on the same fabric that you're going to use. And I understand what you're saying, because particularly on a single layer of fabric, it can tend to what I call torque. But you want it as narrow as possible. That'll help you. But you just got to play with your settings. I play with my settings all the time. I use a Bernina, so the settings are kind of right there in front of you. and you can really adjust the settings. It's more difficult on some brands. So hopefully you've got a brand where you've got knobs that you can fiddle with.
All right. Thanks, everyone. That's all I see. Betsy, thank you. Linda, thank you. We'll see you guys next week.
All right. Thanks so much. See ya.